one that has it bad. I live over from like Corey Station, and I've worked out in the bar. Yeah. Yeah, I live 30, now I live 45 an hour. Yeah. Well, it would take me home at on my way home. Yeah, the afternoon traffic would take me about probably almost an hour to get there in the morning. It would take me almost over an hour to get home, right about an hour and 15 minutes. buddy. How are you, man? All right. Okay. Exciting. Well, good morning. It's great to be back in Northwest Florida. Michael Rushing, where are you at? Incident Commander. Thank you for putting this together. Today's a great announcement. We're able to do 2,000 Johnson & Johnson one-shot doses here at the Zion Hope Primitive Baptist Church over the next 3 days. The site's open to individuals 50 and older. Obviously, we've prioritized senior citizens from the beginning. I'm pleased to report we have way over 3 million seniors in the state of Florida that have received shots, and we're basically about 70% of those 65 and up have received vaccine. We think that that'll go up a little bit more, but I think what we find is once you get into that 70-75% range, it really starts to peter out just because, not everyone has demand for it, and that's fine. So here's going to be 2,000. The great thing about this site, people go through, they get the shot. You don't have to worry about it after that. You don't have to come back in 21 days or 28 days. So I think there's been a lot of interest in Johnson & Johnson for that reason. We didn't think we were going to get any additional J&J this week, but what happened was they trickled out about another 42,000. So the state is using that in a variety of ways. Obviously here, when we're doing the walk-ups, which the Department of Emergency Management does, we're actually knocking on people's doors. That's J&J. When you do the homebound seniors, that's J&J, because if you're doing that on the road, you want to get one shot and be able to get out of there. So we hope to get more Johnson & Johnson over the next couple of weeks, although right now we're not scheduled to get any more. But we weren't scheduled to get any this week, and they did trickle this out. So my hope is that you start to get really significant amounts of Johnson & Johnson to match what we're getting with Pfizer and Moderna. Pfizer and Moderna have been flat for the last few weeks. So, we're getting more than we did at the beginning of January, but we're not yet getting, I think, what we probably had anticipated when we started planning this 3 months ago. Good news is if you look, seniors first, focus on getting the shots to seniors. 7-day rolling average for cases among seniors is down 87% from January 7th to March 21st. The 7-day rolling average for hospitalizations, COVID-related, for senior citizens in Florida is down 81% or 85% from February 3rd to March 21st. And it's down 92% for seniors since January 7th. Now, part of that was going into the nursing homes early, but part of that is doing the seniors first, 65 and plus. So we're really happy to have been one of the leading states in focusing on seniors first. We also have 40 other states still that rank higher than Florida in terms of per capita mortality for seniors. So 40 states have higher mortality. And again, that goes back to focusing on nursing homes at the beginning, doing testing of seniors throughout the pandemic, and then obviously prioritizing them from vaccination, which we think is good. The Panhandle, most of the Panhandle counties are about 2/3 of the seniors, some of them are more, that have gotten shots. Obviously, this is open to 50 plus, but we hope there'll be remaining seniors can come here, which is really good. And, we're now at over 1/3 of that age 60 to 64 in Escambia, and I think that's pretty similar throughout most of the Panhandle. So I think that 60 to 64 will keep growing this week and into next week. We are at age 50 now. The demand was more intense at the beginning of January than it is right now. Part of it is because we've done millions of shots and obviously focused it on the seniors who really wanted it the most. But if the demand continues to be manageable, we want to lower the age again at the appropriate time. So I don't have an announcement on that yet, but we're monitoring it. We're talking with all the retail pharmacies about how many people are going in for that, looking at the county sites, the state sites, all these different things to try to make sure that as the demand softens, you're able to lower it. Now, I will say this. You look at the mortality on this, you're really looking at people under 50. The mortality is less than probably seasonal influenza. Certainly For under 18, it's less than seasonal influenza, but probably 18 to 49 is either similar or even slightly less. So the mortality really starts to pick up as you get over 50. Obviously, a 51-year-old is less at risk than an 81-year-old, and so the mortality continues to go up as the age goes up. So if you get the very vast bulk of 50 plus, you're in really, really good shape, I think, as we go forward. And as we go forward, we're going to continue to expand ways to make the vaccine available for people in their communities. So as of last week, Walgreens has expanded now to 223 Walgreens throughout the state of Florida, and CVS is now up to 182 CVSs. If we get increased vaccine, the bulk of that are going to go to increasing that CVS and Walgreens footprint even more. They're doing a really good job. I mean, CVS, I know they do 100 to 200 shots a day at each of their stores. So we want to make it in all those stores as the supply increases, and will do. And of course, you have the Walgreens CVS. You also have 730 Publix pharmacies, 204 Walmarts and Sam's Club combined, and then 43 Winn-Dixies offering that. So here in Escambia County, you have 9 Walgreens that are offering it, 7 Publix pharmacies, 2 CVS, 1 Winn-Dixies, and 5 Walmart pharmacies. So that's a pretty significant retail footprint. It's easy for people to go. It's usually pretty close by where they live. And I will say, talking with these folks, getting appointments online is a lot easier today than it was when we first started doing this. The first pharmacies were exclusively for long-term care residents and staff. CVS and Walgreens had that mission. Then Publix got on board, and when Publix opened just a handful of counties, man, it was a crushing demand on the website. Then when Walmart came on, pretty good demand. Now as things have gone, the demand, so it's easier, so it doesn't necessarily fill up in 10 minutes. And so you can go on these websites, you got a pretty good chance to get an appointment in a very convenient way. And that's partially because we vaccinated so many people, but also because you do have more vaccine on a weekly basis than we did 2 or 3 months ago. So we think that the retail footprint is good. Again, CVS, I'd like to have more CVS in Escambia, and we'll do that as we get more J&J and as we get more Pfizer and Moderna. We also have had huge numbers of additional sites. I mean, Anquan Bolden Stadium in Pahokee, Edward Waters College, FAMU, Kissimmee Community Center, Broward College, Oak Grove Park, Overton Youth Center, Dade. We now have new sites in Hialeah, Miramar, Opelika, Tampa, Orlando, Kissimmee, Fort Pierce, 2 in Jacksonville. This isn't technically one of our faith-based events here, even though it is at a church. But we've done 71 faith-based events in 22 counties. It's about 75,000 vaccinations just with our churches. We've done churches, synagogues, other groups. We've primarily focused on African American churches. It's a great way for outreach, and we're going to continue to do that. We also have our rural program. If you look at the senior coverage, the only counties that are less than 50% of seniors are some of these rural counties. And so we've surged vaccine there. When we've done it, like Highlands County, it's shot up. Glades, Putnam, some of these others, we're trying to get those in 60, 70% of seniors. I will say, though, in some of those counties, there is a demand issue, so we want to try to get as many people to get it as we can. But our homebound program, I think, is very successful. We started going for homebound seniors because not every senior can drive across town to a drive-through site. Even going to a pharmacy sometimes is not as easy as it is. So there are certain seniors, if you can bring it to their homes, it's good. So we started doing Holocaust survivors. We've also done World War II, Korean veterans. We have this open. Seniors can send in requests, and then we do. So we've done over 5,000 vaccinations of seniors in their homes. We're sending these teams in to do it. So I think that's really exciting. I've been able to be there we did the first Holocaust survivor down in South Florida. We did the first World War II veteran in the St. Pete, Tampa area, and it's really, really good, and they really, really appreciate it. Those homebound, we're using Johnson & Johnson for the homebound visits, because when we first started it, we didn't have Johnson & Johnson. So if you do a homebound visit, you got to come back and do the booster shot. Now with J&J, you can go and do it, and you can hit a number of these seniors, go to their homes, do it, and then just move on to the next group without having to worry about coming back. So it's really efficient use of resources, and I think it's done really, really well. So we're happy about this site. We hope the demand is strong. I think we've made a lot of progress over the last couple months, and we're going to get to a point where this is just going to be available to everyone. I think that's going to happen relatively soon. But they set a date. I think the administration set a date by May 1st. They wanted it basically to be open to all adults. And I can tell you in Florida, that's going to happen way before May 1st. So stay tuned on that. We'll make sure that everyone knows that. And we just appreciate the community coming together to do this. I think a lot of people love getting these one-dose vaccines. And I think it's going to be good for a lot of folks. We're also very encouraged by a lot of what's happening in the state of Florida. And quite frankly, Northwest Florida has led the way. I mean, you've had a very strong year economically, given the circumstances. I talk to people from all over the country, and they love coming to this part of the state. And they really feel like it's, in some of these lockdown states, I mean, the lockdowns are so punishing, even to this day. When they come here, they feel like they're in another country almost in Florida, but particularly in Northwest Florida. So we appreciate everyone working hard. Our unemployment rate statewide is 4.8%. Nationally is 6.3%. And we still don't even have the travel back to where it was, cruise ships, all these things. We're going to work on getting all that back online. But you remember all the doomsday scenarios back in March and April about, budget and unemployment. And obviously that was a jolt then. It was problematic, but I think we've been able to really save the economy, keep it going in a good direction, and I think we have an opportunity to really build on this. And once all the stuff federally opens up, then I think we can, hopefully get that unemployment rate even lower. And of course, you still have places around this country that don't have schools open in person. I don't see how you keep kids out of school for a year and a half or 2 years and think that that's not going to have catastrophic consequences. And so Florida, we're really fortunate to be really one of only a handful of states in which 100% of parents have the option to send their kid to school in person. I think it's important, and I think it's made a huge difference in the lives of these kids, and I think it's been very important for Florida families. And had we not done that, man, we would have so many more problems, not just today, but years into the future. So I want to thank everyone for being a part of that. We'll have another announcement. We did a great announcement yesterday on VOTEC and doing some more skills-based education. I got more announcements coming on education probably at the beginning of next week, and it should be really, really good. So stay tuned for that. So it's great to be here. Happy to take some questions. Basically, yes. Okay. Yep.
And the other thing, 48% of healthcare workers, recent study across the country, have not yet had a dose of vaccine. What will you say to healthcare workers in Florida who still have not taken any of the vaccines?
So they were one of our top priorities. So the nursing home residents and staff, and then the nurses and doctors. And I think what we found is the uptake for the doctors was incredibly high. About 90% of physicians would take it. For the nurses, it was a little bit more mixed. There were some hospital systems that had 2/3 or 3/4 take it. We had some hospital systems that it was about 1/3 to take it. What I tell people is, in Florida, we're not mandating any vaccine for anybody. These are, though, good vaccines. I think you see the effects now, and I think you'll continue to see that in the weeks and months to come. And so, they're safe, they're effective vaccines, and we want to make it available for people. At the same time, there's not going to be a mandate here, and there's also not going to be any vaccine passport requirements. It's really unfair to impose that on people as a cost of being able to participate in society. So we're not going to let that happen in Florida. Again, available to all, required for none, and that's, I think, the right policy to have. All right, thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, thanks. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you guys want to do some photos? Yeah.